All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you all about An Idiot Abroad, and I only wish that it could be the endearing, comical type of idiot abroad like Carl Pilkington. But unfortunately, there's a much greater idiot at large, much more insufferable, with no seemingly redeemable qualities whatsoever.
What did he do to you, Luca?
He bothered me.
Okay.
He bothered me greatly. Before I talk about why he bothers me so much, though, let me just tell you about something that doesn't bother me, which is the new island. Terrible segue.
That's actually a good segue.
Oh, well,
I thought so.
So far too self-deprecating. But anyway, Islander issue 4 is out now, ladies and gentlemen. It's a wonderful issue. Rory, again, you go through it. The aesthetics are terrific. The essays are very, very intellectually nourishing, and there's some fantastic writers in there. We've got Ed Dutton, Morgoth.
And you've got Sting on the cover. I'm not quite sure why, but...
No, that's Rory.
Okay.
That's Rory. He posed for it, and we shaved his head.
I do.
But otherwise, do go and buy it for $14.99 on the website, as well as the merch store as well.
Is he contemplating how fragile we are?
Yes. Well, I can actually... oh, no. Is this... Yep. You can see here, there's all sorts of little esoteric symbols in there. What does it all mean? Go and read the magazine and find out for yourself. So, gentlemen, shall we discuss the idiot? We have here Brian Krasenstein, who is, honestly, you know, you just get those left-wing reply guys on Twitter, just all the time. You know, when Musk took over, they all said, oh, we're going to leave. And to be fair, there was a mass exodus to Blue Sky. But of course, some of them remained to torment us. And I wanted to go through Krasenstein's here because it's a perfect contradiction. It's a perfect contradiction. So he goes through and he just says, I just returned from 2 weeks in Japan, and I have to be honest, it really opened my eyes to how far behind the United States is falling in so many basic ways. Some things that stood out. In 2 weeks across some of Japan's most densely populated cities, I saw only 2 visibly homeless people. I saw 1 person who appeared to be struggling with addiction. High-speed rail made affordable, clean, efficient transportation the norm, not a fantasy. I never once felt unsafe letting my kids walk freely beside me in public. Despite having far fewer public trash cans, Japan's streets had a fraction of the litter. The country's reduced income inequality was visible everywhere, from housing to public services, and I already know what some far-right folks will say. It's because Japan has low immigration, or it's not run by Democrats. But those are lazy excuses and distractions from the real issues. The truth, we've normalized dysfunction in the United States, and we make excuses for it instead of demanding better.
Yeah, but you see how he has already... I think he... Right, so I'm trying to understand what he and his brother are going on about, generally speaking. And I think that...
You'll never win.
Maybe. But if you scroll up a bit, you see essentially he has put forward the alternative explanation of the left, which is, according to him, reduced income inequality. Mm-hmm. So for the left, it can only be an issue of money, not culture. So every time you see any kind of problem coming from the left or from the people the left is supposed to defend, their knee-jerk reaction is, we need to raise your taxes. Is there more crime in, let's say, migrant communities? Yes, they may accept it, but the remedy is to raise taxes in order to give more money to them.
It's always blame the rich.
But even if, and I agree with you, Stelios, but even if, say, for argument's sake, that his economic presuppositions about inequality driving crime were correct, say that they were, does it not also follow that, well, can you not address income inequality and also not import millions and millions of people every year?
Good idea.
Right?
Yeah, the issue is, though, that according to... It's one thing to say that income inequality is a factor, and quite another to eventually treat it as the one and only factor.
Yes, which he
They may not say this explicitly, but generally speaking, this is the pattern, the way they go about it.
absolutely.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, please.
He's only even saying this caveat because it'll have been savaged so many times on Twitter.
Just getting mocked.
Because he's saying, I know they'll say that. Because the left they're not even aware of these arguments. Now they've become aware because they're on X and it's been taken over. So he's going, I know you'll say it's because of immigration. By the way, 2 visibly homeless people in Japan is a cause for great shame. Someone had to probably do ritual suicide and disembowel themselves out of pure shame. You know what I mean? Even the 2 in Japan was like, the streets are not safe.
So dishonourable.
But he's completely wrong, because Dr. Paul Morland has talked about this. Japan, have you heard him talk about the trilemma? He says that when you've got low birth rates, there's 3 options. He talks about he says countries choose from 2 of these 3, but they can't have all 3. So you've got economic growth, you've got ethnocentrism, and you've got what he calls egotism, which is just conveniently to have another E, meaning not having children and pursuing your own life. So he says you can choose 2 out of 3. And he points out Japan chose ethnocentrism and egotism, as in not having children, so they've lost some of the economic growth. That was the case. Whereas like Israel has got the ethnocentrism, so they have a high birth rate, and they've got the economic growth. They haven't got the egotism of not having children. So we've chosen in this country economic growth and the egotism of not having children, but we lost what he's calling the ethno.
And we didn't even get the economic growth.
We didn't in the end even get it, so you're going to only get one of them. But that's what most, that's if he's saying something else about Japan.
But also notice how the word culture doesn't feature in this post.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he talks about there being no fraction of a litter, and one of the main features of Japanese culture is cleanliness. They tend to think of public spaces as their own spaces, rather than just trash cans.
Right. And what's more as well, the fact was that they used to have rubbish bins all over the place, but they were taken away.
This is what they took from you.
Look at what they took. Look at what they took from us.
I suppose the other way you can do it is just authoritarianism. Singapore, may have said it before, but Lee Kuan Yew looked at England and he says, wow, this is an incredible high trust society. People paying for papers and leaving in the right amount, whatever, and not taking all these things. And he just looked at it and said, we can never have that in Singapore, but the only way we can try and achieve it is just with authoritarianism, which is basically what he did to try and, because he had this multicultural setup of Indian, Malay, and Chinese.
Yeah. But Japan is considered very high trust.
I know,
yeah.
But the only other way to achieve this is in a multicultural society is with authoritarianism, is what I'm saying. Yeah. And then you might end up with a similar level to Japan, but they've achieved it through high trust, like you say.
And that's again, we just seem to lose out because we have the multiculturalism now. We're definitely getting the authoritarianism, and we still don't have any of the perks of what it's all about. So, but Mitch here, again, I love that. It's like, oh, I know you're going to say it's about immigration. It's like, yeah, and just because you've said, I know you're going to say that doesn't mean we're going to not say that, right? So when Mitch is like, wow, it's almost like having strict immigration laws, a homogenous population, functional families, zero tolerance for crime, and no DEI consultants actually works. And you can see Brian there at the bottom. It's like, so... then why did you vote for a convicted felon with the immigrant wife if you truly believe that? Again, Brian, right? Whether or not, for a guy...
Besides the point.
Well, one, it was entirely besides the point, but second of all, it's like, yeah, he was prescribed a felon by his political enemies, yeah, okay. And then, but also it's like, no, yeah, but his policies, Brian, the things that MAGA was advocating for... would lead on to all of these problems that Mitch points out there being, well, not all of them, but some of them being addressed.
I think they're like, sometimes they function like blades of the sun. The really crazy
terrible
leftist
accounts
posts where they're going to post something that is really stupid. Then everyone's going to give them millions of views.
Engagement farm.
Yeah, and because we're going to go ballistic over it. Yeah, and they get money.
Yeah, that's what they're in the Kurds. I mean, you look at it, yeah. By the way, that convicted felon thing, I did an interview with David Starkey, hopefully coming out on Monday. Not plugging myself, but he said the left believe in magic, they believe in words, and that the words make things so. They're like, he's a convicted felon. Yeah, because you guys called him that 2 minutes ago, as you said. It's like, why is no one taking this seriously? Because it's obviously just nonsense. It's lawfare that you've just done.
Yes.
They're like, well, he's a convicted felon. They thought that was actually going to work. Because in their mind.
That's a really good point, actually, because if you think of lots of revolutionaries and leftists, they just say, well, okay, we legislated for it. That's it.
Yeah.
Finish. Yeah. you actually have to also oversee the policy.
Oh, it's legal immigration. Oh, well, then you can destroy the country. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have here. Let's go through some of Brian's views on things, shall we? I support legal immigration because it strengthens our country and ensures a fair process for those who want to contribute to America. I oppose illegal immigration because a nation without borders is a nation without laws. We'll come back to that in a minute. I'm against tearing families apart for those who have been here over 3 years. Right, so he's not against that one. Right? Again, already contradicting himself. Well, no, if you've been here for 3 years, then you're, not illegal anymore?
Tom Homan always said, just send the family back as well.
Yeah,
Done.
based. Yeah. Advocate for massively increasing the funding to expedite the immigration process. I believe in securing the border responsibly, whilst ensuring compassion for these fleeing danger. The thing is, right, when you look at Japan, if Japan entirely governed itself by principles of compassion, they would have far more Kurds in the country right now. And with 3,000 Kurds in Tokyo, they're already causing enormous problems for the local people. And you can see Josh and Bo were just covering the other day, talking about the fact that how quickly this new party in Japan, this Sansito party, has been able to get itself up and running based on the fact that people just don't want this, right? They don't want it, and they're voting on this single issue to just nip it in the bud right now. And this is something that people like Brian will never wish to address and never get hold of. Look at this here. Notice, the incoming Trump administration is planning a large-scale immigration raid in Chicago next week. So tipping, again, I'm not against illegal immigration, but I'm just going to tip off this city so that you can hide all of the illegals in it as quick as possible. So again, he talks about the fact that, Japan's so safe. But again, just doesn't advocate for a single policy that would actually create or foster that sort of society in America.
This is what I really dislike about the rhetoric of people like Jon Stewart, because it's like you're either going to go for Putin's Russia level of authoritarianism, or you're going to have San Francisco level of defecation on the street. It doesn't have to be an exhaustive dilemma.
No, it doesn't at all. And, we obviously can't forget that all European countries used to be like this until just a few generations
what they
ago.
took from us.
Yeah. Again, award. So if I go on as well, he's pro-legal immigration and H-1B visas because that's real American first. Here's a shitlib here to tell you what real America first is.
I don't understand what that means unless you're a bigot. So you have to have Indians undercutting your wages, or you're a bigot and you're not America first.
Yes. Loyalty to the what is good for America is to have allegiance to every single human being on the planet who lives outside of America but wants to get into it. And none at all for the WASPs and Europeans who actually built up America into the place of prosperity that the whole world wants to move to. Yeah. And this is the thing, what he doesn't appreciate. He can duck the immigration thing all he wants, but the fact of the matter is that the Japanese are the custodians of their civilization and have been for basically millennia at this point, and so they feel that responsibility for it in a way that you just simply don't see. Just to come back to something a little more, not trivial, but like the situation of all the rubbish in the streets, right? It is the Japanese people don't need the state to intervene in order for them to understand the importance of a clean street, right? And just living in a clean society, a clean city, clear village, wherever it may be, in a way that the people currently in squatting in Birmingham, right, just don't appreciate and don't understand. The bins haven't come to be collected, so I'm just going to allow myself to continue living in squalor and filth, right? Like, you and I would have the initiative to just do what we can to make sure our plot of land, our house, looks presentable from the front. All those old British Pather videos, just women out sweeping their doorsteps. every morning and all that just like quaint stuff. Like those days are gone. But,
yeah, it's what I was trying to say before. You have the high trust society naturally.
Yeah.
And once that goes, it's incredibly hard to have. And once it goes, like Lee Kuan Yew couldn't believe that we had it. And once it goes, you only get it artificially with authoritarianism. And by the way, on that previous one, Elon Musk agrees with him on H-1B visas. Maybe that's why,
I know.
Maybe that's why he gets such good engagement on Twitter.
Maybe it is.
He's in a tech bro with Elon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I personally don't believe that.
One thing apologies. One thing to add to what you say, Nick. I think when Musk was talking about a third party, both brothers were considering it.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine that party, Elon Musk and the two Krasensteins is like the moron. But I mean, Elon Musk obviously a genius, but not on politics. But he's like, let's have the America party. It's like, can we not, Elon? Can we not have
the
a
Musk
centrist
Krasenstein ticket?
Yeah.
2028.
Just dual vice presidents and just because they're one. I always think they're like one weird person.
Co-counsels of the
Imagine
consuls
you
of
have
the Republic.
VP Brian Krasenstein.
To be fair, Musk is kind of. It comes across kind of weird. Obviously a genius, but kind of weird, right? I think we all agree. So. They would be even weirder than him. That would offset his weird. He'd be like, I'm the normal one. I think I'm sorry. Look at these guys.
That's what it is, right? It's come across more normal. That's the only reason you get them on board. But of course, apparently there are hidden trade-offs to Japan's crime-free society. And
So much safety.
yeah.
Yeah, safety makes you weak and bored and complacent and soft. And soft times create bad times.
Yeah.
So Japan's abundant social capital and cultural cohesion also translates into one of the world's lowest incarceration rates. Japan has a death penalty, but with a twist. The condemned aren't informed of their execution date until the morning it's scheduled to occur. So, you're dying today. Simple as that. And so there's this form of like psychological warfare that you're basically playing with your criminals. Just every night they're awake, you're like, is this my last night on Earth? That. For all time.
Do you know what? I thought I was based wanting to bring back the death penalty. I was a total lib. It's death penalty, and you don't tell them till the day. That's the new standard for me now.
Surprise, motherfucker. And but obviously there are considerable ethical issues about this practice in Japan, and it's a bad thing.
What are they?
I just told you them.
Oh, that was them.
Yes.
Right.
Physical and spiritual cleanliness are interlinked in Japanese culture. The philosophy parallels the broken window theory of crime, which suggests that minor signs of disorder like broken windows or graffiti subtly degrade respect for the law, encouraging more serious criminality. And similarly, Japan's meticulous cleanliness functions as an unspoken deterrent to misbehavior, reinforcing a high standard of order that infuses the entire society. And again, this is something that we used to have, to come back to what I was saying earlier. But I do think also it is... I don't want to speak as if I think that just because we've lost these things, we can't reclaim them again, right? I do think with time and patience and education and just moral standards that we can actually return to those things. But it won't be with the current demographic state.
No, and Japan is even more like this. And they talk about meticulous cleanliness. I mean, they have those toilets that shoot out a little jet of water. Have you seen those? And they play music. I mean, Japan takes it to the next level. I was watching that thinking, I'm so much like the Japanese. Like, you got to respect the Japanese, right? The cleanliness, the neatness, the nice architecture. It's all great stuff.
One of the things as well I love is that the rules, you'd expect them, because of you hear about the cleanliness and all of these sorts of things, you expect them to be just really austere, right, and just really serious about following, almost like German in their psychology. But they're really arbitrary about which rules. Like, they are madmen when it comes to like cycling, like absolute madmen. If a light is red, then they won't cross the road. But otherwise, I was in Osaka and I saw a woman texting one-handed down a busy market stall with a baby in the front basket. Just like this, like the crowds just parting, everything. It's like, so, there is some chaos in there as well.
Yeah, also, is it true that the Battle Royale was not fiction?
I don't know. That was something I'll have to look into. Well, definitely wasn't fiction back in the 1400s.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So, but also one of the
I'm
other
talking
things.
about the movie
Yeah. I've not seen it,
with
but I know
new generations that were a bit not disrespectful of the elders. So they said every year we're gonna pick a class,
Right.
and make them just fight each other to the death. Or so.
I'll have to watch the film to be honest
I
with you.
saw it, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I don't remember. I don't recognize what he's saying. No. Go on.
but we're sure it's true, Stelios. So just to wrap up as well. So it was the 80th anniversary of the Hiroshima bomb.
I'm not laughing for the bomb.
I didn't think you
I
were.
saw something on the side, and I just thought of.
Okay.
We'll cut this.
All right. We'll cut this. What I just wanted to say, right, between World War II and then the 2 atomic bombs and then American occupation, right, it goes to show that decline and disgrace and uncleanliness, all these things that he remarks on, are, as he points out, they are in some ways a choice, right? Of course they are a choice, but the people who inhabit your nation make up those choices, right? And because of cultural differences, some people are more likely to make certain choices than others. And so I just wanted to really just use this as an opportunity to rant about all that. I hope you'll all forgive me.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotusseaters.com.